All right, my beautiful trailblazing Aries souls, gather close. Welcome back to Astrology Unlocked, where we don't just look at the stars. We listen to the secrets they whisper directly to your spirit. Are you ready to hear something that might just shake the very foundations of your world? Because if you could see the cosmic energies I just witnessed swirling around your magnificent spirit, you would never, ever again doubt that fire in your gut. I saw something that has been unfolding in the shadows of your life for a very long time. Someone in your own circle, perhaps even in your family, someone who wears a mask of harmlessness is hiding a dense, heavy energy of envy. They are terrified of your light, and they have been subtly trying to control your flame. This person doesn't raise their voice. They don't confront you head-on. Oh no, that would be far too direct for their methods. Instead, their power lies in the whispers behind your back, the small, passive gestures, the quiet manipulations designed to make you question your own power and lead you away from your true, fiery self. But then, my dear Aries, I saw a brilliant light. A vast, magnificent field of light is igniting all around you. And this light isn't coming from some external source. It's erupting from within you. It is the glorious result of all the silent battles you've fought and all the pain you have learned to alchemize into power. Have you ever felt this subtle drain on your energy? This feeling of being held back by an invisible force? Let me know in the comments below, because your story is a beacon for others. And if this message is already resonating deep within your soul, do me a favor right now and press that subscribe button. Become a part of our beautiful cosmic community here at Astrology Unlocked, so you never miss these life-altering updates crafted just for you. Today, I want to pull back the curtain on this person, the one who carries a shadow, but cloaks it in the comfortable disguise of family or friendship. We are going to talk about the extraordinary spiritual gift you carry, Aries, the very one that makes it impossible for them to truly control you. We will dive deep into your healing intuition, which is awakening now with breathtaking force. And yes, we will talk about a magnificent love that is coming your way, not to fill a void or to save you, but to stand beside you and champion your incredible light. This is not just another astrology video. I want you to feel this as a sacred letter addressed directly to your soul. If you dare to believe that you are worthy of the truth, not the filtered truth others give you, but the raw, powerful truth that burns within your own heart, then stay with me. This is the truth you have so often ignored to keep the peace, to maintain appearances, or to hold on to a connection that has long since turned toxic. What I am about to share might just cause you to reflect on your entire life's journey and realize with stunning clarity that you were never ever weak. You were a wildfire they were trying to contain in a teacup. If you are truly ready, take a deep cleansing breath with me now. Allow yourself to listen not with your analytical mind, but with the powerful wisdom of your heart, and then be truly honest with yourself. Isn't it true that the deepest wounds you've carried were never from the loud, angry words? Weren't they from those silent moments when you saw the truth with perfect clarity, yet you smiled and told yourself, "It's nothing, I'm just being sensitive"? You grew far too accustomed to enduring in silence, my brave Aries, too used to forgiving people before they even recognized the hurt they had caused. But let me be crystal clear, that does not mean you are weak. It means only one thing: you had to navigate an environment where love wasn't always sincere. It was often disguised as control, as jealousy, or as a desperate fear of being outshined. You do not have to live that way a single moment longer. The most dangerous part of this dynamic isn't that someone is actively trying to control you. It's that you learned to accept it as a normal part of life. You started to dim your own brilliant light so that others wouldn't feel threatened or uncomfortable in their shadows. But you, magnificent Aries, were not born to make others comfortable in their darkness. You were born to blaze a trail. And a true radiant fire never needs to apologize for its brilliance. There is something you've probably never spoken aloud, but you know it deep in your soul. Something just isn't right behind the scenes. It's more than a hunch. It's a repeating pattern of cosmic signs. Those sleepless nights for no apparent reason. That vague, unsettling feeling of confusion that descends like a fog. Those moments when making even the simplest decision feels like you're wading through molasses, as if an invisible force is pulling you backward. And that bone-deep, nameless fatigue, even when your life appears peaceful on the surface. No, my friend, none of this is random. Everything is energy, and a significant part of this heavy static isn't coming from you. There is someone, perhaps a person, who was once very close to you, who is attempting to steer your life in the direction they want it to go. But they don't use direct commands. Their strategy is one of silent manipulation. They avoid direct confrontation, but their presence always seems to linger in indirect critical conversations. They don't criticize you to your face, but they are masters at planting seeds of doubt about you in the minds of others. They don't need to speak loudly because they have learned how to spread their darkness with just their presence. And then, like so many times before you turn inward and ask yourself, is there something wrong with me? Hear me now, Aries. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you. You are simply shining, and they have not yet learned how to stand in the presence of such a powerful light without flinching. And when the truth can no longer be contained in the shadows, the universe itself steps in. Karma, my dear friend, doesn't always arrive with a clap of thunder. Sometimes it arrives in the quietest moments. It moves in silence, and slowly it begins to unravel everything they thought they could hide forever. You do not need to seek revenge. A brilliant flame does not need to react to the darkness. Its mere existence is enough to make the shadows recede. But you do need to understand this fundamental cosmic law. When a soul chooses to live with a courageous and kind heart, the universe will never ever allow them to fall in injustice. Every action, every word, even the quietest intention echoes back to its source. No one can sleep soundly when their own conscience begins to scream. The seeds they have sown will come back to find them, not as a cosmic punishment, but as a heavy burden that no one else can carry for them. You will begin to see it. You'll watch as they gradually lose the trust of those around them, unable to control the narrative any longer. The structures they built with cunning and manipulation will begin to crumble, for they lack a foundation of truth. And when the mask finally falls, no one will need to point a finger. They will be left with nothing to hold onto but the emptiness they tried to project onto you. When you live with a pure heart, with words of fire and actions rooted in integrity, you cultivate a silent, unshakable strength. This is a strength that darkness cannot penetrate. You do not need to prove a single thing to anyone. You only need to stand firm in your truth, because your radiant light doesn't need to make noise. It only needs to be authentic. Others might twist the truth about you. They may even succeed in making some people doubt you for a time. But no one, and I mean no one, can make you doubt yourself unless you give them that power. Have you ever felt manipulated by someone you once placed your trust in? Have you ever had to quietly withdraw from a relationship because your soul, your fiery instinct, sensed danger long before you had any logical proof? Tell me your story in the comments. Let your experience become a guiding light for someone who is still living in that same shadow, wondering if they are imagining things. And if at any point you have asked yourself, "How am I still standing after all of this?" then listen closely one more time. Because long ago, you were bestowed a gift that not everyone possesses. It is something others may try to imitate, but they can never truly touch its essence. It is your healing intuition. It's a form of power that doesn't need to be loud or flashy, but it is always present. You didn't learn it in a book. It has been with you since the moment of your birth. You sense the truth even when it is wrapped in layers of deception. You know instinctively who needs you to listen and who is carrying a hidden pain. This isn't because you feel a need to save people, but because you were sent to this world to be a warrior of the heart, to preserve courage and gentleness in a world that is often wounded. And that my magnificent Aries is precisely why they cannot control you. It's why they can't truly manipulate you, and why they will never, ever break you. And do you know what? This is only the beginning of a much grander awakening that awaits you. The very moment you began to sense that something wasn't right was the exact moment that your sacred guides and ancestors began to speak to you more clearly. Not through human words, but through powerful vibrations you couldn't quite explain. The whispers on the wind, the sudden intense pounding of your heart when you entered a room and felt that the energy had shifted, that was them. Since you were a child, you have been fiercely protected. Think back. Certain dangerous situations only happened once, not because you were just lucky, but because an invisible force intervened to stop the storm just for you. Perhaps you don't fully subscribe to the idea of angels' ancestors or guardian spirits, but your soul has never doubted their presence. Your soul has always sensed them. Sometimes it was through a vivid dream. Other times it was the distinct feeling of being held and supported when no one was physically there. And sometimes it was a sudden surge of warmth and courage in your chest, right at the moment you thought you were about to collapse. These are not coincidences, dear Aries. That is the protective fire you carry with you. It is a shield of light, invisible to most, but ever present. And you know what it is, that very shield that makes those who carry poison in their hearts hesitate. They probably don't understand why they feel so uneasy in your presence. They can't explain why every single time they try to bring you down, something powerful lifts you right back up. They don't know you have a celestial army at your back. They are completely unaware that while they are plotting to harm you behind, you stands a legion of light, working tirelessly to keep you on your destined path. You may not see them, but they are always there. They are as gentle as the smoke from incense lit in honor of someone who has passed, yet as fierce as a warrior's prayer. They don't appear to solve all your problems for you. Instead, they help you remember that you are worthy of every good thing this universe has to offer. And that is the true source of your power. Because as long as you remember that you are loved, not because you are perfect, not because you are always right, but simply because you are, you will never lose yourself. No matter how much the world tries to bend you into something you are not. Perhaps someone once made you believe you were too much just for wanting respect. Maybe you were told you were too impulsive, too passionate, too intense. But now you know the truth, don't you, Aries? That fire is not a weakness. It is the sacred language of your soul. And not everyone possesses the courage to understand it. If you have ever felt like you are too different to belong, remember this: you were not born to blend into the crowd. You were born to raise the frequency of this world, one brave and authentic act at a time. You are moving through one of the most challenging but also one of the most empowering moments of your life. This is no longer the time to close your eyes and let things slide. This is the time to open your eyes wide to the truth, even if it makes you tremble. This is the time to rise to your feet, not to retaliate, but to face everything you have endured. Choose to forgive for your own peace, but vow to never, ever allow it to be repeated. And there is something incredibly important you need to hear right now. Someone from your past is making their way back to you. Someone who once shattered your heart. Maybe it was a fiery relationship that burned bright and fast. Perhaps it was someone you believed you could not live without. They will return in a dream, in a memory, or in a seemingly harmless text message. They will tell you they've changed, that they miss you, that they finally realize their mistakes. But is that the truth? Or is this the final cosmic test to see if you have truly finally chosen yourself, just as the universe often sends us messages, not in glaring neon signs, but in subtle whispers just loud enough for our souls to hear? This person from your past will reappear. Not with a loud, dramatic apology, but with a delicate, subtle presence, as if nothing painful ever happened between you. An unexpected message late at night. A dream so vivid, it wakes you from your sleep. A song you once shared suddenly playing on the radio. They will say they have changed, that they have thought about you endlessly, that they miss you, regret what happened, and need you. They will use the beautiful, passionate memories to try and unlock your heart, the very heart they once so carelessly walked away from. They won't ask for your forgiveness with humble words, but with a look that is designed to melt your resolve. But my darling Aries, this is not a test to see if you still love them. This is a test to see if you finally love yourself more. Because a part of you, the part that has always been a fierce protector and lover, might be stirred. But you are no longer the person you used to be. You do not operate from your wounds anymore. You operate from your truth. And the truth is this: if someone truly values you, they won't wait until you are broken to see your worth. They won't need to shatter you into a million pieces to realize how precious you are. Real love does not require pain to be deep. Real love does not demand that you trade your dignity for its survival. Perhaps they truly have changed, but not everyone who changes deserves another chance to be in your sacred space. Forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself to set yourself free. Trust is something the other person must earn over time. And if this time you say no, not from a place of hatred, but because you have learned not to return to a fire that once burned you, that is the moment you truly break free from the old cycle. Forgiveness is healing, but self-respect, my dear Aries, is liberation. You may still love them. There may be nights when you miss them so intensely it aches. But what makes you powerful isn't that you have forgotten them. It is that you still choose not to return to the place where you lost yourself. And when you finally close that door with both love and finality, you will feel something inside of you exhale, a soft release, as if your soul has finally escaped a prison you had grown so accustomed to, you almost forgot it wasn't freedom. That is the exact moment the universe begins to prepare a new door for you. A door where someone is coming not to complete you, but to walk beside you. Not to control your fire, but to champion it and watch you shine. Another kind of love is coming, but you can only receive it when your hands are no longer clinging to the old, broken door. And as you begin to step out of this loop of old emotions, you will notice miraculous things begin to happen. Doors that were once bolted shut will creak open. Opportunities you thought had passed you by will reappear not with force, but with a gentle invitation asking you, this time, are you ready to receive? Perhaps you have always felt like you were one step behind everyone else, that the passion and sincerity you carried inside was never acknowledged at the right time. But the truth is, the universe never forgets a soul who lives with courage. There are prayers you whispered into the darkness that you thought were lost, but they were the silent guides leading you to this very turning point. You do not need to rush. You don't need to shout from the rooftops to prove who you are, because true talent, when it is born from a humble and authentic heart, will always speak for itself. And you have that within you, Aries, a very special fiery gift, an ability that when you engage with it, you don't feel tired, you feel alive. It's something you once thought was ordinary, that everyone could do, but in truth, only when you do, does it carry that spark of life, that healing energy. You may have hidden it, seen it as something small, or pushed it aside because life was too demanding. But you can no longer pretend it doesn't exist, because it is not just a passion, it is your calling. You were not born to repeat an exhausting routine, trading your health for validation. You were born to use that gift. Whether it is your ability to lead, to speak truth, to create beauty, to heal with your hands, or simply to be so fully present that you help someone else feel they are not alone in their battle. And the miraculous thing is, when you start giving, the very gift you were created to give, the universe will begin to return to you things you once thought were impossible. You will see the right people appear as if by magic. Invitations will arrive not from desperate networking, but from beautifully orchestrated coincidences. And money, something you may have worried about to the point of exhaustion, will cease to be a battle. It will become a flow. Not a flood, not a trickle, but just enough for you to live your truth without ever sacrificing your soul again. From this day forward, remember this one crucial thing: your energy is the most precious currency you possess. Stop investing it in people and places that leave you feeling drained. Do not keep pouring your love, your time, and your care into voids that will never be filled. Do not use your brilliant light to warm places that have chosen to remain in the cold dark. From now on, you only water what you want to see grow. This is not selfish. This is sacred wisdom. You have finally learned that not everyone is worthy of the pure, powerful energy you carry. Start with small, decisive actions, a blank piece of paper and a pen to write your dreams. A day completely free from social media. One time saying go no to something that weighs on your spirit. Because each small act of self-honor is you telling the universe, I am ready. I am ready to live as my true self. And when you begin to operate from a place of self-respect, not of lack, every step you take, every word you speak, everything you create will carry a powerful vibration that others cannot help but notice. At that moment, you will no longer need to try to be seen. You will have become the very fire that people are naturally drawn to. And believe me, my beautiful Aries, the best part has not even arrived yet. The signals from the invisible realm are becoming clearer, and your intuition is awakening on a level deeper than ever before. You see, sometimes the truth doesn't come in logical arguments. It comes in dreams. You may have once dreamed of being trapped in an old house or standing before a door that was locked. You would wake up feeling a mix of sadness and uncertainty, unable to name the feeling, but sensing that something was calling to you from another layer of consciousness. Your soul never stopped speaking to you. Life was just too loud, and you were missing its silent, urgent messages. Every time you dream of water, it represents emotions that need healing. When you dream of fire, you are burning away the old to make way for a glorious rebirth. If you see a door, a key, or an endless hallway, your soul is signaling that it is time to charge into a new chapter. Dreams are not random images. They are the sacred maps your intuition draws for you when your conscious mind is asleep. No one understands this better than you, a soul who has always lived with a deep connection to the energies others call mystical. You do not need to learn how to communicate with the universe from anyone else, because you are a part of the universe. You simply need to return to a state of stillness, like the calm before a storm, to clearly see what has always been there. Repeating numbers, a stranger's meaningful glance, in a crowd, a song playing on the radio at the exact moment you were about to give up. These are not coincidences. These are messages. A soul that has awakened like yours can no longer pretend not to hear them. Because once you have truly opened your eyes, you can never go back to sleep. This also means you will start sensing things that others miss entirely. You may find it difficult to explain why you feel someone is not safe, even if they have done nothing overtly wrong. You might find yourself pulling away from a conversation because something about their energy leaves you feeling empty and depleted. Do not doubt that feeling. Your intuition does not need logical proof. It only needs your trust. You have lived long enough to understand that those fiery instincts you were once told were a weakness are actually the only compass that has kept you standing through life's fiercest storms. You have learned how to feel the truth through a simple touch, a downcast gaze, or a silence that is heavy with unspoken words. That ability to read what is never said is the greatest gift you possess. The moment you begin to trust it unconditionally, you will no longer chase anyone or anything. You won't need to ask others for their opinions on what you should do, where you should go, or who you should choose. You will simply know, not through logic, but through a deep, calm certainty that settles in your core. That calm is your answer, because anything that makes your spirit feel at peace will never lead you astray. And when you begin to live from that place of awakened intuition, you will watch as old, draining relationships quietly close and new aligned paths naturally open before you. There will be no need to force choices because everything is aligning at the divine pace your soul chose long before you were born. The universe is whispering, "My magnificent Aries, you just need to listen." You don't need anyone to save you. You were never so weak that you needed another person to define your worth. But it is also true that you have always dreamed of a love that could be your partner, in crime, your greatest ally. Not to fix you, but to walk with you through both the triumphant days and the fragile moments. A love that comes not to fill the gaps, but to help you live more fully together. And the miracle is this: when you no longer cling to the past out of a fear of being alone, the door finally opens for the one who truly deserves to walk through it. Someone is coming who doesn't arrive with loud declarations or movie-like promises, but with a gaze so steady and calm that you realize, I no longer have to pretend to be strong, to be loved. They will not love you for what you can offer them, but for who you are in your softest, most vulnerable moments. They will not be drawn to the blinding shine you project when you are forcing yourself to thrive, but to the gentle way you live, the purity of your fire, and the faith you still hold in a world full of doubt. They won't make your heart race with anxiety, but they will make it slow down with a profound sense of peace. This is not because they are perfect, but because beside them, You will no longer have to hide any part of yourself. No more pretending, no more dodging, no more shrinking your magnificent self to fit into someone else's small expectations. And you will realize that true love doesn't begin with grand statements, but with a simple, powerful look that says, you don't need to be anything other than exactly who you are. This time, you will love not in fear of losing, but with a heart that has been cracked open, but has still chosen the light. You have learned that love is not about accepting what hurts you just because you're afraid no one else will love you. True love is when you are chosen every single day, not out of obligation or memory, but because in this present moment, you are the one they want to share their world with. They may not arrive in the exact form you once dreamed of, but they will arrive with the right presence, the right respect, and a mature love that doesn't play silent games or hold on to unreasonable grudges. They too have walked through their own fires, and so they understand the immense value of honesty, patience, and healing. And when you meet them, you won't need to ask, are they sincere? You will know not through their words, but through a crystal clear feeling, I don't have to be on guard anymore. This time, love comes not to teach you another painful lesson, but to build a home with you. But do you know what is even more beautiful? It is this: even if they have not yet arrived, you can still smile. Because you no longer allow the empty spaces in your heart to be filled by the wrong people. You have walked through the storm on your own 2 feet. And from where you now stand, you can see clearly that a love worth having will never ever ask you to trade your inner fire just to survive. Someone who truly loves you will not love you because you are always strong. They will love you even more in the moments when you are soft, because they know that when an Aries soul loves with everything they have, that love is a force of nature, unlike anything else in this world. You once ran so far for so long, trying to find your place in this world. There were times you thought that if you were just good enough, kind enough, if you just tried hard enough, then finally people would understand you, love you, and acknowledge you. But the more you ran, the more breathless you became. Not because you were weak, but because you were running in the wrong direction. You were chasing acceptance from the outside when what your soul truly craved was to return home to yourself. Don't forget, we are walking this journey together. No one is left behind. No experience of yours is meaningless. Each one has been shaping the radiant, powerful soul that is you. And if you want to continue this journey with me, please hit that subscribe button and turn on all notifications, because every video here is a spiritual letter sent just for you. This is a sacred space where you are seen, you are understood, and you are cherished, because you deserve that. Not because you are perfect, but because you are a soul who dares to live truthfully, and that is the most sacred thing of all.